Hi Year 11s, it's me. Sorry I'm not here today, but I don't want you to miss out on the work because we've got a SAT coming up. So let's go over 5F first, and then I'll do the next one straight after that. So, if we have a look at this, y equals a plus bx. So if you remember y equals mx plus c, I'll write it down here. We've probably seen this one before, mx plus c. M's the gradient, which we've learned about already, rise over run, and c is the y-intercept. But in this topic, we use y equals a plus bx, where a is the y-intercept and b is the gradient. It's exactly the same as that, they use different letters for it. All good? And it doesn't matter which order you put it in, whether it's bx plus a or a plus bx. We'll move on from there. Okay, so first example, we're going to find the equation of a straight line. So here's a straight line. There's two things we need to find. One's the y-intercept and one's the gradient. We can look here and already see what the y-intercept is. It's 2. So the y-intercept, we can write down a is equal to 2. Half our job done already. That was pretty easy. So the next one, since we've got a graph here, like we've got the line drawn, we can just use our rise over run if we want. We can use our triangle like that, and we work out. So this point here is 5, because it's 5, 9, and that point's 9. So the run goes from 0 to 5. So we can write in run equals 5, because that's the distance, 0 to 5. And the rise goes from 2 up to 9, so we can see the rise is 7. Awesome. And remember, the gradient is in the positive direction, because when it's in the negative direction, remember you have to put down a negative as well. So now we can work out straight away what the gradient is. So the gradient is b this time, so b is rise over run, which is 7 over 5. So now we can substitute that into the equation, and we are done. Y equals a plus 7 over 5x. There's our equation. Y equals 2 plus 7 over 5x. So if you want to have a look at that, copy that down. So pause the video when it's over the work and copy it down in your notes. Alright, we're going to move on to the next example. So you have to be able to find the equation of a line using 2 points. 2 points, so the line goes through the point 2, 1 and it goes through 4, 10. Make sure you know how to do both these examples, because there's a good chance it'll be on the exam. Alright, so our first point, we can label it x1 and y1, so it's point 1, x and y, and x2, y2. It's always good to label it, and it doesn't matter which point's which, as long as you label it like that. Alrighty, so this time we don't have a graph, so we can't see what the gradient is, and we don't know where the intercept is either. So we have to use our gradient, and if you remember the gradient is rise over run. We've done that before. There's also a formula to be able to work this out, and it's y2 minus y1, because that's a difference in the rise, difference in the y values, over x2 minus x1. So we can use this formula, although I've written m here, but the gradient's really big. But we'll use m for now, that's okay. So now we look at these points and we substitute them into this formula. So y2 is 10 minus y1 is 1 over x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is 2. So all we've done is substitute those points into this formula here, and then we solve it. 10 minus 1 is 9, 4 minus 2 is 2. So we'll leave it as an improper fraction, so we've got the gradient is 9 over 2. So now what we have to do is substitute. We've got that, we'll call it b now, because we'll put it into our formula. So we've got y equals a plus bx. We know our value of b is 9 over 2, so we'll substitute that in. It's not the nicest number, it's better when it's a whole number, but it is what it is. Now we need to find what this a is, and what we need to do is substitute. So the last step, substitute 1 point into this equation for x and y, and then we'll have only the unknown will be a. So where do you think we'll get a point from? So if you look up here, we've got 2 points there. You pick whichever one you think is the easiest. So I'm going to write down my workings out. I'm going to substitute the point 2, 1 into this equation. So remember, this is the x value and 1 is the y value. So 1 equals a. See, I'm substituted y equals 1 equals a plus 9 over 2 times by x, which is 2. And fortunately for us, the 2's cancel, which is nice. So we've got an equation 1 equals a plus 9 Now we need to take away 9 from both sides, and we get a equals negative 8, because 1 minus 9 is minus 8. Now we've found the value of A, we already worked out the value of B, which is up there, and we're finished. So now we can write down our equation. Y equals A, which is minus 8, plus, what's B? 9 over 2, 9 over 2x. So I'll just go over it. I'll let you copy that down actually. So have a look at the notes. Remember to pause the work, pause the video so you can copy it down. Alrighty, so remember, when you've got 2 points, make sure you know how to do this. You find the gradient first. Label the points, use the formula. Gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Substitute the values in, find the value of the gradient, which we know is b. Substitute it into the equation, and then get a point. Pick any point, substitute the x and y value into that equation, and then you'll find out you have to calculate what a is, and then you've got your equation. Excellent. Now if you can look really closely down here, now that we've done all the hard work, we can just use CAS to do it for us, but you need to know how to do it manually as well. So here's your instructions, so copy these down please, and make sure you practice using CAS. So you can do this same example using CAS. You go to statistics, enter the values into a list. So you'll get a list like this. This will be list 1 and list 2. So the list 1 will be the x values. So it'll be 2, and 1 would go into the y value, and then 4 and 10. So this is what your CAS will look like into list 1 and list 2. Then all you do is go calc, regression, linear regression, because linear means straight line. Click on OK. Make sure that list 1 is the x value and list 2 is the y value, and then it will actually just give you the values of a and b. And you substitute it into your equation, and you should get the same answer. So make sure you do this method with that example that we just did, and check your answers. Make sure you've got the same as what I just got. Excellent. So now you can do 5F, page 340. Please get that done, everyone. And next lesson, period 2, we're going to do the next exercise.